So I'm thinking of doing this particular review of my Poco F1 because I thought this might be a good insight for all of you guys out there who might be thinking that can you do a full-fledged photography, full-fledged vlog with this particular phone, or for that matter any phone that has a decent camera. So as you guys know that I have been using this particular phone for almost a year now, and during my recent trip to the Tirthan Valley, so I took only this phone and this GoPro through which I'm recording this vlog right now, and the Nikon A900 was also there, but mostly I did all the filming and shooting with this phone only. So I just thought of making a vlog, like from a vlogger's perspective, how good a phone should fare when it comes to the vlogging needs and photography needs, whether you can do it or not, whether you need a gimbal for the stabilization part, or whether you can do it handheld, what all features I use, what all features you should be using ideally. So it's totally like a personal experience kind of a thing that I want to share with you guys all. So hopefully this video will help you. Now as you guys see here that this is the camera icon. This is basically the Google camera, the Gcam APK, or the application that I have downloaded. This is not the stock camera. The stock camera is, this is the one. Yeah, so this is the stock camera, and let me just bring it a bit closer. So this is basically the stock camera interface. So you have the photo, the video, you have the portrait mode, which is for the bokeh effect, and then you have the night. Now there's something about this night mode I generally do not like, or never found the night mode of the Poco, the stock camera, that useful. And then there's the square frame that you can use for your Instagram posts. I do not use it very often though. Panorama, yeah, it works decently. Pro mode, yep, you get all these options like white balance. You have all these options here. You can get the f value, the shutter speed, the ISO, all these things. You can adjust it manually, but not that desired a result. So I end up mostly using the Gcam app, which I will show you guys. And regarding the video mode, I mostly use it on 1080p 60 frames per second. The reason for that is, first of all, my computer is not that high end, so I cannot exactly manage the 4K frames. So I mostly shoot at 1080p, and any which ways most people in India at least watch it in 1080p or even 480p. And rarely you will find me using the 4K frames. Like in the Tirthan Valley, I actually used the 4K, and it was a bit mixed experience because I found some focus hunting issues during the 4K, and also during the post-production the file was pretty heavy, so I tend to use more on the 1080p. And video stabilization, now this is also one thing. Now image stabilization, it does say it's on, but it's an electronic image stabilization and not that good at all. I mean, I never found it because I end up using the software stabilization mostly. Now if I have to show you the Google camera app, the Gcam app that I'm using, let's exit this first of all. And I have got it on the desktop, as you can see, because I mostly use this. So I launch this, and by default it's a camera mode. The best part which I like is, the ability to shoot in RAW, because if I click on this option, as you see, it's giving me the option of shooting in RAW, JPEG only, and RAW plus JPEG. So for all the serious photographers out there, if you are shooting in RAW, you have the immense opportunity to shoot that in Lightroom, Photoshop, or any other application that can edit RAW. So when I'm doing some serious shoots, then I always keep it in RAW and JPEG. Otherwise I just keep it off on JPEG only. This is like the white balance thing. I mostly keep it on auto. And this is the self timer. This comes handy when you're doing the night shoots. And talking about night shoots, since this is the Gcam APK, so you get all these options which you normally get on a Google Pixel camera. So the moment it's getting very dark, it will automatically prompt you on the camera interface. Like on this interface only, it will say that it's too dark, try night sight or night camera. So this is what the option you choose. So the shutter button gets this moon icon, and trust me, on handheld you can get some brilliant shots. I will share some of the night shots on screen which you're probably seeing right now. So these were all taken handheld, and a little bit of editing is always done. I mean, everyone does on social media a little bit of editing, so there's no shame in that. So that's one thing. And if you just want to exit, just tap this once, it goes out. Now photosphere is one interesting mode, but I never found that. I mean, I never got success with this. I mean, it's very difficult for managing all the dots and everything, so I rarely use that. And what else? Settings. If you go into settings, so again you get a lot of options. Show dirty lens warning, HDR control, so you can do manual HDR, and RAW plus JPEG control is there. Back camera resolution. Now surprisingly, you can say the Gcam APK, the back camera, cannot do 4K 60 frames per second. It is capped to 4K 30 frames per second. So that's one downside, I would say. So again, I keep it on 1080p, and front camera video resolution is again 1080p. Video stabilization is on. Now when it comes to video, I resort to the stock camera. I mostly use the Gcam for the night sight and some daily photographs or the daytime photographs because of this RAW feature. And when you're shooting, always make sure that these grid lines are on. It helps you like adjust your frame, plan your composition at the same time efficiently. That's pretty much all I would say. And so coming back to the question that whether you can use this phone, or for that matter any phone with a decent camera, I think that you can very well use, if you're a Pocophone user, you can very well use this phone. I even use this phone in my Mukteshwar vlog, if you remember. I will link it up there, and I will just mention the exact timing on the screen, like at which part the Pocophone footage is coming up. So I have been depending on this particular phone a lot, and trust me, I am an avid mobile phone user. I am very up to date with technology. So I had thoughts, I mean, so many phones coming out these days in the market, so I had thoughts of changing the phone, maybe because of that ultra wide camera lenses that are available these days on the mobile phones. But then again, for ultra wide I have this GoPro, I have the Canon ultra wide lens as well, so I don't exactly need, and if I need a really ultra wide, I will use the panorama mode of this one. So other than that, you can definitely use this particular phone. I mean, if you're serious, if you know how to use your gadget, you can absolutely go ahead and use a mobile phone for your vlogging, for your travel films and all. And when it comes to the stabilization part, if you have a gimbal, very well, you can use the gimbal. Otherwise, what you need to do is just hold the camera as steady as possible. Never shoot like this, always shoot like this, because if you're shooting like this, you get the full view. Otherwise, if you end up shooting like this, you will get the black bars on either side of the screen. So always shoot like this. This way you get your thumb actually gets the option to focus, and then you have the option to pan the camera like this. And if you are close to your body, try and hold the hands. First of all, try and hold the camera like this, and try and hold it like this, so that you can actually like a pan shot like this one, so that it doesn't get very much shaky. And you can do smooth pans like this one, because in that case you are using both your hands as your stabilizer, and For the remaining, software stabilization is there. So if you are a Premiere Pro user, you can add warp stabilizer, and if you are using Final Cut Pro, in that case you can also just use the stabilization which comes on the inspector tab on the right. And for other softwares, I'm sure there are stabilization features available. You just need to find that out. I mean, Google and YouTube is the best learning source. So summing it up, yes, if this is actually the best way, if you can vlog if you don't have an immediate like an expensive camera unit, a gimbal, DSLR and all that stuff. Use your phone, man. Your phone, these days phones have got amazing lenses, so just use it to the max. And if you need any help from me, like, you can connect with me on Instagram, on YouTube comments. I am more or less responsive on YouTube comments. Whatever I know, to the best of my knowledge, I will help you with that. So be creative, use your phone, and don't just think, when will I get an expensive gadget, an expensive camera? Use what you have, man, because the best camera in the world is the one that is in your hand. All the best, people, and ride safe, ride hard, wear the riding gears as much as possible. Bye bye.